Of different aspects of an aircraft's performance. And here we go with the solo display by the Royal Netherlands Air Force F-16 AM by the Falcon. Performing a derry turn, rolling one way, turning the other, a manoeuvre named after the late de Havilland test pilot John Derry, and I believe if he's following the flight sequence we have in front of us, he should be coming in for a 4-point roll on the next pass. The new Dutch F-16 display pilot is from 323 Squadron at Leeuwarden. The members of the Dutch F-16 demo team in terms of other air and ground crew involved drawn from both 323 and its sister unit at Leeuwarden 322 Squadron. Standard camouflage markings of this aircraft a good demonstration that most of the military hardware you see here is here as a result of irreducible spare capacity. So one day this aircraft will be performing here at RIAT, and the next day it will be on the flight line doing probably 2 air combat sorties in one day. Exactly so, Mark, and the Dutch F-16s have certainly been extremely operationally active in recent times. Here, coming in for another slow pass that's so impressive in these forward flights. Which is coming up, the pace constantly changes in this display, and Mark, very good operations that are performed in theatres today.
Yeah, absolutely. In particular in Afghanistan, shows of force were used to disperse crowds and to basically show that we had intent when something was occurring which perhaps didn't meet the rules of engagement for a kinetic engagement. There was a crowd that had gathered outside the governor's house. They had intent to harm him. An F-16 was scrambled, did a show of force, 100 feet, 600 knots, and the crowd dispersed. Negative G manoeuvres are incredibly uncomfortable for the occupants of the cockpit. A lot of time and effort has been invested in protection from positive G, such as G trousers and torso protection, but there's no technology in the world that can protect you from that blood rushing to the top of your chest cavity and into your head. Very uncomfortable and quite painful.
The Dutch received their first F-16s in June 1979. Their original order was for 213 of these aircraft. midst of a square curve with, as you can see, aileron rolls fitted on each side. Dutch F-16s have been extremely active since 2003 to 4, and they were still flying missions there until very recently. Their base in the latter stages of the deployment was Mazar-e-Sharif, but the last Dutch F-16s were withdrawn from the theatre in late June this year. There, they carried out more than 10,000 sorties, totalling over 24,000 flying hours. In now, we've geared down for a simulated low approach, and a dirty man roll dirty, a reference to the fact that he's keeping the undercarriage down. It's still in production by Lockheed Martin. Interesting to see, because 5,195 Phantoms were built, and a few years ago Lockheed Martin delivered the 4,500. High-speed pass. So cameras ready for that condensation. Sequences that can be put together even with the same time. Coming in over the threshold to bring to a close his contribution, and indeed the Royal Netherlands Air Force's contribution to the flying programme here at RIAT, Captain Jeroen Slick Dickens in the F-16AM fighting Falcon. And a combination of aerodynamic braking and a very patriotically coloured braking parachute to slow the F-16 down.